Thank you very much for this introduction, for the presentation. I agree the problem of identity is a very difficult problem. We have to change our mentality about identity. I think this is a problem of education, a problem of culture. In this historical period, despite everything, we cannot deny that we are European. We are European. Despite everything. That is to say, resisting the temptation, which nowadays is particularly strong, to lay claim to certain particularities and specific identities. Being European has become a given now. It's a fact. However, to be truly European and a good European, to cite an expression by a well-known expression by Nietzsche, to be truly European, we must first of all have a clear idea of precisely who we are. Understanding correctly, on the one hand, our relationship with the other citizens of the whole continent and the long history that unites us. And on the other hand, our relationship with the new citizens, the migrants, with whom we are increasingly interacting. Migrants is a problem of Europe, is a problem of Italy now. We must arise above the tendency of comparing and us to a them, each closing themselves to the other. Rather, we need to consolidate an us that is able to bring us all together. This is my main thesis. We have to understand who we are as European, our identity. The problem is how to achieve this. One of the obstacles up to now has been the way in which the us was conceived and continues to be defined, as well as the way in which our relationship with the other has been and continues to be understood. In other words, the problem is the idea and the construction of our identity, in our case, of an European identity. So, what does it mean to be European, beyond the often oversimplified images that are frequently presented to us? To answer this question, we must first of all look to the past. It is a shared past, a history we have heard from the past speeches. It is a shared past, a history which we cannot always be proud of, since in most cases it has been marked by wars, persecutions, violence, but from which we have been and still to this day are able to learn. This has been demonstrated by the fact that in the aftermath of the Second World War, the utopia of a European community, of a Europe that is in many ways common, has indeed become reality. Furthermore, it must be said that the people of our continent actually do share a common history, unlike the people of other continents, such as, for example, those of the American continent or of Australia. This past, however, is determined by the reference to complex and widespread origins, the welcoming of new elements throughout the course of the centuries, and the interviewing of diverse origins of those who were already living in Europe. Greek lens, from Greek culture. And secondly, they are the references offered by religious inspiration, in particular Jewish-Christian inspiration. It is, therefore, on the basis of history that we can understand just who we are. It is from this perspective that we can truly understand our identity, our dynamic identity. However, it has to be said that this is an identity which many wish to forget, or that often, for ideological reason, feel they must repudiate. I will come back to this point later. But, however, in any case, the result is a lack of reference point. We are without orientation now. In orientation, we are disorientated about our own identity, our own history, our own tradition. There are indeed many elements, increasingly more, which even today converge to put the European identity in a state of crisis. But today, this crisis is more specifically in relation to the huge-scale migration from the global south, with the European governments seem incapable of governing in a cooperative manner. The migration, in fact, appear increasingly to threaten European identity. But what is the meaning of this word, identity? I say that this theme, this topic, this idea is central in today's Europe and in the definition of Europe's future. It is precisely for this reason that it must receive the focus of our full attention. It's vital because we need to be clear about precisely what kind of mix of contamination we are dealing with. Above all, we must know what needs to be done in order that we may try to govern these processes, as opposed to suffering only suffering the consequences of them. Let us therefore ask ourselves exactly what is meant by the term identity, both in the general sense as well as in the specific cases with which we deal concretely. This, as we'll see, this concept is a complex, ambiguous concept, in that there are many meanings. There are, in my opinion, this is my idea, three distinct ways of understanding what we call identity. Three different approaches that can be identified with the help of three metaphors. We can, in fact, distinguish among a closed, a wall identity, then a reflected or a mirror identity, and finally, there is an open identity, open to those transformations that it may withstand and with which it is able to interact in various ways. The wall identity is that which considers the other simply as something or someone to be rejected. It implies a self-affirmation that is both exclusive and excluding. In other words, there must be a wall between myself and the other in order to guarantee this exclusion. Europe as a fortress. This is a way the issue of identity is experienced by people, for example, with a fundamentalist mentality. Fundamentalism build walls. It's excluded. The mirror, on the other hand, involves a different concept of identity, less violent but equally hegemonic. In this model, the other is considered only in relation to my self-affirmation and to the confirmation of my identity. Its function, therefore, is merely to mirror my opinions that I know from the start to be valid and therefore cannot be truly debated. The other, in this perspective, is merely a sparring partner, you can say, destined to succumb, or to say only, yes, you're right, I agree. They play their role and then disappear. Finally, the open identity is established through our relationship with others. It is a relational identity. Only when my identity is established within this relationship, it is truly open. Open to what may be new in this relationship, ever open to new relationships. Hence, I do not close myself to others. I simply do not mirror myself in others. Rather, in my relation to them, I can change my own perception of myself and can understand who I truly am. Moreover, I encourage others to do likewise. It's a contagious attitude. I do not justify the eventually monolithic nature of the others. I do not allow them to construct a wall. Instead, I challenge them through my behavior. I challenge them to open up, to have the courage to interact with me and with others who are like me. Only if we take this stance does the prospect of integration become possible. The integration. Only in this way does everyone's identity develop and grow. In fact, identity is not something static. Rather, it is a developing process to which, like it or not, we all make our contribution together. It is precisely in this context that we need to recover, I think is my thesis, our identity, our European identity in the correct way. We need to understand and express this identity as an open, as a plural identity, appropriate not only for the situation in which we now live, but also for considering what has happened throughout history, albeit with various outcomes. We must do this in such a way that this does not produce an explosion, a dissolution, a decline of our tradition. To achieve this, we must learn to conduct the right relationships, the good relationships. It is an ethical task. It involves our ethical choices. And we must learn to do it right now in our Europe. These are relations, as I said, which develop among the different peoples within Europe, but which also concern those who are arriving in Europe today. These are relationships between human beings. First of all, relationships between and among human beings. We do not meet as abstract entities. Dialogue is not an interaction between ideas or categories. We meet people. We meet individuals. Of course, a European identity today must also be built on the basis of common goals. Goals to be achieved in the future. And this, on closer inspection, is what is often missing now. There is in fact no clarity regarding the tasks which together the various countries within Europe can work towards. There is a lack of awareness of the historical events that have affected us, for better or for worse. But openness to the future cannot exclude teaching about the past, nor can it exclude a series of choices that we must make now in the present. Making sure that the various European Union member states have their bank accounts in order can certainly this task not be considered an adequate goal. Collective efforts cannot be concentrated on the adoption of an increasingly rigid economic policy, see Greece, nor on the adoption of the increasingly unilateral bureaucratic procedures. The symbol of Europe cannot be the monument to the euro placed in Frankfurt in front of the headquarters of the European Central Bank. This would be a Europe without a soul. It would be a Europe which is incapable of understanding that the crisis which we are currently experiencing is not purely an economic crisis, perhaps on its way to being resolved, but above all, a cultural crisis. It is an identity crisis, that is to say, a crisis regarding the adequate construction of its own identity. Nor can the notion of Europe as a fortress be considered acceptable, neither in terms of a fortification of common boundaries, nor given the impossibility of doing so. It is impossible to build walls on the sea. In terms of individual states wanting to safeguard their sovereignty by restoring former barriers. In fact, fortresses sooner or later are conquered and the walls collapse. Instead, and concluding, the task today is twofold and concerns precisely the issue of identity. It is a question of recovering the European identity as an open, relational identity, and then putting it into practice by making sure that this plural relationality, which constitutes Europe in its history, is disseminated, contaminated, and spread to other people. That is, it must become fundamental as a model and as a practice for those who want to live in Europe, and also for those who want to be welcomed into Europe. What I am not suggesting is that we should take a specific, distinct standpoint, starting with the conviction that every idea is valid as any other. and must be placed on the same level as all others. What would suffice would be to achieve this goal in a non-conflictual manner and with a just dose of tolerance. No. However, the spread of fundamentalism demonstrates that this solution, a solution that has become concrete in Anglo-American communitarianism, is not sufficient for avoiding conflicts. European culture, European identity, precisely because it's an open identity, is the only one that can legitimize all cultures. But to do so, it requires that the latter accept its foundational elements, namely the dignity of all human beings, the safeguarding of justice, and above all, the criterion of hospitable universality. What do I mean with this concept, hospitable universality? Again, I do not mean the idea of a universality created by one particular culture, one which we might define generally as Western culture. What I mean is that only if the criteria and principles developed by Europe during the course of history appear to be shareable by everyone, and indeed shared by everyone, is it possible for everyone to find space, to find a common space for the expression of a specific combination of each person. Thus, if this European identity presents itself as an opportunity for everyone's safeguard, and becomes diffused only in this way, it may assert itself, and since it is an open identity, can become universally shared. If we look to the future, then we realize that what is called for the redefinition of our identity. But for this to happen, we must be clear about what this identity actually consists of. In short, a European identity, if it is indeed an open identity, can only be a relational identity. It has been built and must continue to be built with an awareness of and respect for different traditions. It has always been and must continue to be susceptible to ever new contamination. It requires, and indeed must ask, other cultures and traditions to adopt its same criteria in order to interact, formal criteria, thus making it universality possible and reaffirm itself as universal. Ultimately, it's a question of reaffirming and remaining faithful to that identity which is typical of difference and which is created by difference. We are all the same, not because we are homogenized by certain shared practices. We are all the same because we are all different. We are all the same because we are all different. I conclude with a metaphor. Let us not make the mistake of destroying our home, of undervaluing it, or despising it, although do not do so. Let us not make the mistake of closing it or barricading ourselves in it. Instead, this house must be there. It must be constantly repaired and rebuilt, but it must not have locked doors. If we neglect it, if we do not all work together to keep it in good shape, it will collapse. After all, it is only together, inhabitants both old and new, that we can keep this house alive, that we can keep our old